Welcome back. Well, there are many stressors occurring every day. The wars, government affairs, local crime, mass shootings, etc. And we've invited Dr. Christine Caulfield, Chief Executive Officer at LSF Health Systems, to give us some advice on how we can protect ourselves and our loved ones from being stressed and overwhelmed by the news and societal issues. So thank you so much for joining us today. It's nice
my
to
pleasure.
meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too.
Thank you for helping us out with this. So what is the relationship between external stressors like geopolitical conflicts and an individual's mental health?
Well, I'll tell you, it really can come together in a negative way. Now, if people are living with depression or anxiety or frankly PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and then they are seeing these news events, they're worried about their loved ones, they're worried about their safety, it can really exacerbate their symptoms.
Okay, so then let's talk about some of the common symptoms of depression and anxiety that can be triggered by those external factors.
Yes, so when people are fearing for their loved one's safety, their own safety, many times they tend to isolate even more. They start avoiding public events, avoiding getting out of their home, and so that can be very worrisome and really needs some attention, some counseling, some help, some support to help move through this difficult situation.
Yeah, because we still want to live our lives. We don't want to live in fear.
Right.
You know, you don't want to just stay at home because something might happen, although you might feel safer to do that, but then you're not living life, right?
Exactly.
You're surviving, not thriving. How can individuals strike a balance then with staying informed about these events that are happening? Because we still need to know what's going on in the world and especially in our local communities.
Definitely.
But how do we find that balance of not letting it overwhelm us?
Yes, well, my recommendation would be to really limit the exposure to the news. Set aside some particular times and stick to it. And, you know, put that media device down, because we get news from a lot of different sources. So
social media can be really hard sometimes.
Oh, very, very hard. So most definitely. So limit those exposures and change the channel. You know, find some other sources to get your news so that it's more balanced. And if you're feeling particularly anxious and want to do something, find ways to advocate, find ways to send support, for example, to Gaza, to Israel, those kinds of things that make you feel more in control and in charge.
Right. All right, well then let's talk about some coping mechanisms as well, because if they're dealing with stress, anxiety, depression, what do you have for us there?
Well, we really need to surround ourselves with people that are supportive, that don't escalate our anxiety or trigger our depression. If the symptoms become more everyday and you're feeling like you're kind of spiraling downward, then it's time to get help. And you know, it's a real sign of health to reach out for help when you know you need some extra support. So the good news is we have so many wonderful organizations in this great town that can help.
Yeah, and I've heard the saying, you have to feel it to heal it. So just bottling it up is not a good idea.
You are so right.
So if somebody is interested in contacting LSF Health Systems, what's the best way they can go about doing that?
Yes, well, you know, we have a 24/7 access to care line that is manned by our clinical team, and if at 3 in the morning you're feeling particularly anxious, you can pick up that phone and give us a call. And that number is 877-229-9098.
That's wonderful. Yeah, because you never know when it's going to pop up for you. And some people do have those different types of schedules, you know, where other people might not be awake at that time. So that's nice to know that you can help us out with that. So thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.